Good morning, everybody. This is Stacy Turner with our DMOpro Zoom. So thankful to have each of you here and hope that you had a great Thanksgiving with your family. I don't know if you hosted and cooked a big meal for everyone or you got to go somewhere else and somebody spoil you, as one of you said. So I just hope you enjoyed that time together. And a couple things I wanted to talk about today is one, end of the month. What do we need to be doing at the end of this month? And then kind of the busyness of the season that is upon us now, for sure. What can we do to attract other people? And then how do we share a cart with someone, especially today being the last day of the Black Friday sale. So I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's until basically midnight Central Time tonight. So let's just think through. I'm not going to go over all of like end of the month details because there's a whole other Zoom on that. You guys can find that in the DMOpro app, and we really walked through that, and I may even have it in my notes section that I can share with you guys. But really, it's making sure your customers know that their orders are shipping. Is there anyone at the end of this month or beginning of the next month that need to know that? Getting an okay with those, and then who's close to finishing their points for Partner Plus or QSC. So being able to look those up. I use the classic office for that under, let's see, Fast Track Team Building Bonus. I think it is under team data. So you're going to look for that, and then you put in the dates for the person, and then you can look up and see how many points. So you want to make sure that you're helping those new people get to Partner Plus. Those that have got a significant number of orders, we've got a week left or however many days left. There's a lot that can be done in that time, especially, if you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute. Sometimes that urgency really gets people moving, and you can help them get those orders, especially if they've been talking to people. So who's new on your team? Have you introduced yourself to them? Do they have you as a resource? Kind of where are they at in that startup process? Because when we have, incentives like we do right now, where it's $30 off and they get the $90 worth of samples, do they know that? Like maybe their sponsor is not as active. Are they able to transfer that information to them? As a leader, that's also your job to make sure that's being transferred and to give the resources to the person above them to share to them. And I'm finding little text chats work really well with new people versus getting them on Voxer right away, and then maybe get them to Voxer at QSC. So just kind of think of that. What's a way to communicate with them? Texting is great because they get it right there. It's on their phone. So think about that. And, where are you at with your 511? So how many personal orders do you have? That 5, we're shooting to get 5 a month, and then 1 new team member and that person to Partner Plus, and then the next month transferring and, continuing on with them, getting them to QSC. So where are you at with that? And let's talk about the Black Friday deal with that, with customers. I don't know about you guys, but I do have people that are just kind of sitting on the fence. Now, the 10% discount on the quad, the fruit, vegetable, berry, and omega does not apply to somebody who's doing a Healthy Starts where they're already getting it free for their child. But that might, I have a couple in mind where we had a really good conversation last week. I sent her just the generic links, but she hasn't done it yet. She hasn't ordered. So they have one child. She would be able to sponsor the child and get it free for him. But the father could do the 10% discount today. So I'm going to build out a cart in my myjuiceplus.com to be able to send to them. So I asked her, hey, what's your address? And if you ask people this time of year, hey, what's your address? They think you're going to give them a Christmas card. So they're not like, why is she asking for my address? So she typed it right back, which I will put her on my list for a Christmas card or as a customer, right? And then I just asked her what her son's birthday is. And so you can build out a cart even without their address. And I did ask for her email address as well. So just kind of keeping that in mind, if you get all their information, build out a cart link, all they have to do is put in their payment information. So it's just super simple for them. And we're taking one step away. And I don't know if you guys remember this at conference. I don't remember the girl that shared this. I do remember she was on they were on stage, Alexis Busselman and her newer team member, and her team member was moving really quickly. She had high influence with the people she was connecting with. And when they had a good conversation, she would just send them a cart already built out for them. Do you guys remember hearing that at conference? And I was like, that's interesting, because I haven't always seen that work. For me, like sometimes if you put, if you send a cart, then it's sort of, it is in their hands and you don't always see them follow through. Same thing with sending them a link to order, right? But if you can take even one step further and fill in all the information, all they have to do is their payment information. It's like that much more helpful to them, and they're more likely to go ahead and place that order. So I think one of the things with that gal that was working so well with her is she did have very high rapport with the people she was talking to. They were already coming to her for information, and they had a high trust level. So, that's kind of something that we don't always talk about as that like buyer scale. We have a product. It's not expensive, but it can be expensive in someone's mind because it's a monthly commitment. It's not like an expensive each month, but knowing it's a monthly commitment, that kind of puts it on the more expense level. So if it's on that level of more an expense in someone's mind, the higher your trust is with them, the more likely they are to move forward. And that's the beauty of building a team, because I can share with somebody's mother, but they don't trust me. They don't know me, right? But they could share with their mother as a new partner, and they already have that relationship built in. And the mom is more likely to order Juice Plus from her daughter than she is from me as somebody she doesn't know. The trust isn't high there. So that's the beauty of building your network and gathering more customers, helping more people through building a team, where we can often get stuck in our head thinking, I'll just keep them as a customer, and I'll just build my customer base, which is good. You want to do both, but we definitely want to be inviting team, and then we help them have the conversations with those people that know and trust them, so that we build our overall customer base and building team as well. So just kind of keep those in mind. So I'm curious if you guys are using the cart system. Have you used that cart system? What are you finding working for that? You guys share with me what are your thoughts on that? What did you think about when you heard the girl at conference talking about that? Were you kind of surprised?
I thought it was a great idea, but I tend to shy away from stuff. But I actually did use it. I have a guy I know who's at battling the end part of cancer, and he was just talking about how fatigued he was and things like that. And I said, well, maybe this will help you increase your energy, and it'll definitely boost your immune system. And I said, well, why don't I build you a cart? So I did, and I sent it to him, and today I'm texting him and I'm like, you haven't done anything with it yet, but then I was like, well, maybe I didn't explain to him that he needed to go in and finish it, So I explained that to him today. He said he would do it today, so I will find out. I told him today is the last day for the discount.
Right.
But
yeah, very good.
I think I wasn't clear, maybe, that he had to go in and he had to put in his credit card, because usually I don't think I have one customer where I didn't place the whole order for him.
Yeah.
I end up doing it all. And I'm okay with that. It's just that nobody ever does it on their own.
Yeah. And they don't always, right? Like I said, I think that there was kind of a unique aspect to the conversations this gal was having, is it was like the clear next step for them was to order Juice Plus, and she gave them the cart, and they like followed through because of that high rapport she already had with them, or direction in her life. Miss Patty, what you got?
I was going to say, I always try to give people the option. And sometimes if they really want to get going and they're hard to connect, I say, hey, I sent you a cart, and that way when you have a minute, you can finish it up. But I also say, if for some reason you just want to give me your information, just let me know and I'll call and I'll get it going for you. So I like to give them the options. And I don't think there's any harm with a cart sitting in their text, right? I mean, that way, if somehow you miss it, they can still go back and finish it.
Yeah. And I like what you said, Patty. I can get on the phone with you. Let me, I've got all the information. I just need to get the payment info. It'll take us 5 minutes or less. Do you have a couple minutes? So getting on the phone with people really does move that order system. I saw that with the guy that I followed up through with on the airplane. I had sent him links, but he had never done it. In his mind, the thought of like clicking the link and filling all this stuff in, I guess, was just too much. So he would rather, like I said, I just saw he wasn't doing it. So I said, hey, would you like me to do that for you? And he said, yeah, call me on Sunday. And so that's what we did last week. So sometimes, having the option is really important to let them know both ways. That's really good, Patty. Anyone else experience with using the cart?
I've set up the cart before and had mixed work or whatever things happen. Like I've put it in there a few times and they just haven't gone in. So for me, I just like to know it's complete. For me, I feel like it's quicker for me just to while we're talking, get their order set up, and then at the end just say, are you ready for your credit? I'm ready for your credit card, because then I know it's done instead of having to go back. So for me, I don't always get back to them if I don't. And so I don't know, that's what I found works for me.
Especially if you're in that conversation, Lisa, face to face or on the phone already, just go right towards, hey, let's get your payment information and I'll put this in for you. I would definitely work towards that versus sending them a link first. So if you're on the phone, definitely say, or if you're in person, let's get you started. Let's fill out this order form. Sometimes I've just been talking with someone, we've talked so many times. I'm like, all right, I'm really not sure why you're not ordering yet. Like, here's the order form. Let's just get going. Like, come on. And they're like, all right. So then they fill it out. So asking for the sale or closing the sale, if you will, is on us. This is just one more option to do that will work for some people. And having both, I think, is really good. Tap, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I got really excited when they first came out with the cart routine, and that's what I used consistently for a few weeks. I didn't have one success. It was like telling people to call you back, putting the power in their court, and then I would feel I can't call them because I said that they would call me. And so I backed away from it. But I heard that at conference, and I was like, that's awesome that really works that way. I think that would be a really great process for a professional, a massage therapist, oriental medicine person, chiropractor, a doctor's office, a personal trainer, someone who that person is already seeking help from.
Yeah.
Then I think that it would be a great process. But I got very frustrated and I've backed away from it. I hope not to my detriment, but you never know.
Yeah. So I think knowing the right type of conversation, when to use that, it can't hurt, like Patty said, to just put it out there. And then remembering, if we had a solid conversation with someone, we should never feel odd or awkward going back to that conversation to help them. So it's in our mind, it's often not something that they're bothered by. If you can bring the conversation back up in a conversational way, like you would with a friend, versus like, did you click the cart? Did you listen to the video? Did you watch it? Did you watch it? Did you click it? Did you put it in? Like, that's just kind of annoying, but just have a conversation with them. I know you're super busy. There's a lot going on, especially this time of year, but this is why we need this nutrition. Remind them back of their why as you're texting or messaging them. Today, I've got a couple people I want to build out that cart and send to, because I've already sent them the link. We already had the conversation. They didn't fill out the order form in person. So why not try it again? Like, right? Like it's one more, we already I already know that this is wise for them. So it is a 10% discount for her husband. Why not send that to her? Now, the only hang up I can see with her is they are going out of state for a couple of days, for about a week. So she may say she just wants to wait until she gets back, which I can totally understand that, right? So it's not just shipped and sitting on her door, but she may have somebody that's house sitting. Like, I don't know. I can make all those assumptions for her and not send the link, and then that's on me. So I'm just going to build that cart out. So I've got a couple of people in mind that I've had strong conversations. They just haven't done it yet. They haven't made that final step. So at least it's continuing the conversation. It's another exposure, and it's up to them whether they fill it out, but it doesn't hurt to do that for me. The other thing to remember is, in your DMO planner, you've got the contact sheets at the back. That's a great place when you've got that list of people that you're wanting to help. Go back to that and look at it. And, are there people on that list that you're like, oh yeah, I could totally send that to them. I forgot about that option for them. And I have their information, or I've already got their info. Maybe it's a family member that you do know their address, you do know that you can put in for them. So it's just kind of one more step. It's one more idea. It's one more possibility to get that conversation going. And it does end today. So kind of why not use it is what I'm thinking.
Stacy, can I say one other thing?
Yeah.
Two people that I've had success with are people who are used to doing that, like to place their own order. So when I gave them the option, like one guy owns his own business, for him it was wham bam, so it worked really well. The other one was my friend, and she called me and asked me about it. And so I asked her which way she wanted to do it. And so for the people, there are some people out there, that's what they like to do. It's quick. And probably a lot of our youth would do that. The people I've struggled with are the people who don't follow up and don't answer the phone when they say they're going to anyway. So I think there is potential for it to work.
Right. So both of those were very high on the buyer readiness scale for you. Like they contacted you, they were ready, right? So they're more likely to quickly follow through and get that order in versus somebody you've had just one exposure conversation with. Just more likely. It doesn't mean that they won't, but they're higher on that scale. They're further along that path. They're probably more likely going to take it. And like Tap said, the gal that was talking and sharing that she did this, she was already a part of their health journey. They'd already had a strong conversation about their health, and there was a high trust factor. She was already a part of their journey, and they saw her as a resource and somebody who they were already looking for resources for. I'm sure she had the strong Juice Plus conversation with them, and that was just the next logical step for them. And I think she just very confidently sent them the link and said, this is how this works. I'm going to send you a link, fill this out and put your payment information in. So people are different, situations are different, but it is something that we have the option for. Any other comments on that? All right. The other thought process is, these new people that we're bringing on, we've got the benefit of $30 off. So only $22 sign up, and then they get the $90 free of samples. Remember, they have to place an order in the month that they sign up. So if they don't place a new order in this month, they don't get the free samples. And you want to work with them to try to get those points, the 900 points within their first 10 days. And some people that I was talking to this week as team members didn't know this, that bonus of $100, if they get their points in their first 10 days, they get $100, but you also get $100 for helping them do that. So I don't know if you know that the Partner Plus has $100 sponsor bonus. It didn't always, but that is fairly new thing. So just know it's worth the effort to to help them get those orders, have the conversations, think through who they would like to talk with, being, watching their numbers, seeing where they're at, and encouraging them. You only need one more trio order or whatever that looks like. So make sure that you are helping them with that. If they do it in 30 days, it's a $50 bonus, and then you get $50. So it's fine. Let's just finish it up by the end of the month so that they're walking into December at an extra 5% commission. So always talking to them that it's for their benefit, not like, hey, we get $50, but you get $50 and you get 5% commission next month. I don't want you to miss out. I don't want you to leave money on the table. Let's, finish this up this month. Who else can we share with? What type of event can we do? Really talking through those things. They need a lot of confidence from you when they very first start out. There's some people that, again, they're just going to have a higher rapport with people. They're already on a journey with others. Their recommendation holds really strong in somebody's mind, and those people are willing to act quicker. And so you don't have to hold their hand as much, right? When they're getting started, they just kind of talking to people and the orders are coming in. But that's not typical. It's just not. You've got a new team member that they sign up, and then you're encouraging them. Who else can you share with? One of my newer team members, she said, okay, I need you to help me get my mom. And I was like, I don't think I can get your mom. Like, how about we shift that verbiage? I don't think your mom wants to be gotten, if that's a thing. Like, I think we need to think, how can we help her? What information can we share with her? What is the need that she has? How can we share something that would be helpful to her? And she said, yeah, and then she can help me get my aunt. And I was like, okay, we got to stop using that verbiage. Nobody wants to get someone or be gotten by someone. It's like, we got to get them to do something. They don't owe us anything. It's not for us that they're ordering. It is because we need the points, right? It is because we're trying to build an income base with this. But if our heart is not for them first, they will feel that. And your new person doesn't know the mission that we have. Their belief in Juice Plus probably isn't even that strong, especially when they're stepping in as this gal is. She's not taken the product yet. She doesn't have a personal experience for herself. She's just now excited about the product and thinking, okay, this would be a way to build income so that I can step away from this job eventually. She wants to make a car payment. So it's both sides of the sales and the helping. But if the people they're talking to are getting the message of, you're doing this for me, then if they order, they won't stay on it and they're going to cancel and we lose them anyway, right? So checking that verbiage of your new people. How are the conversations going? What's coming up in the objections that they're having? Do they have the basic videos? Do they know the link to their website? All of those things are important aspects of helping that new team member along. It's not we don't build team and we don't build a business by signing people up. A discount will bring people in at a different level, like the interest is there. But if we're not helping them move along, we've not really helped them. Like, you've got to lead them and guide them, give them next steps, help them through those initial conversations. Because if they get frustrated too fast, we say typically it's 3 hard no's. If they get 3 reductions or hard no's without serious support from us, then they will fall away and it's just not worth it. So a hard no can be like, I don't understand this office. I don't understand how to put an order in. I get frustrated. I don't have time for that. And I still get frustrated on that aspect of it too. So I need to make sure that they know if they're frustrated, they call me first. Don't sit in frustration. If you can't figure it out in 5 minutes, you need to call me and I'll walk you through it. I'll FaceTime you through it, whatever. I don't want that one of those no's to be the frustration of getting set up, of getting an order in, their basic order, none of that. Because it is sort of a complicated, there's a lot of, if you're putting a free child, you have to use the healthy starts. If you're doing these Black Fridays, it has to be a bundle. There's a lot of little things that a new person isn't going to know that can get frustrating if we're not there walking them through that. So They need to know that we're partnering with them on that. So if that's, I don't want that to be one of their frustrating no's. If a second one is like their, brother-in-law mocks them and says, oh, I can't believe that you've gotten sucked into something like that. That's a tough thing to take, right? Like if your belief is not strong, and I think you guys could tell stories like that. We all have them. It's just, how well can somebody bounce back, or how much support do they feel in that situation? If they're talking to you, doing well, and then they just kind of vanish off the face of the earth, I promise you, they've probably hit their third hard negative, and they're just thinking, is it worth it to keep going? So staying close with them, kind of giving them a heads up, not everybody's going to be open to this, but that's okay. They'll come around. Building that community and them seeing that they're a part of other people that are getting orders. I remember that was a part of me. Like at first I got hit really hard with threes, like 3 right away that I was like, dang, but I knew Sharon was getting orders and the other people that they were getting orders. So if they could get orders, so could I. I just had to change something. I had to shift something. I wasn't doing something right. And I was willing to ask, okay, what is it? And for me personally, it was not hosting an event. I was talking to a lot of people on my own, like new excitement, but honestly, product ignorance. I was giving them a cassette tape to listen to. I was getting that back, but nobody was ordering. I needed the validation of somebody else that had been with this longer for them to build that belief with me. I was only 24 when I started. So most of the people I was talking to were 10 years older than me. Right. So I did know these people and I had relationships with them, but I didn't have a strong rapport or their confidence necessarily in me because I was so much younger. So bringing in Sharon into those events, and then I started collecting all those conversations, and I would get them 4 at a time, 5 at a time, 3 people at a time to come to those events. She validated what I said. So how can you get your new person's people in front of you? A launch call, those are options. An event that you do at their house. Some people call it a friends and family call. Doing dinner, bringing dinner over and doing a dinner for the family. That has worked really well. You're not talking business to them. You're just talking product. You're making sure that they understand the basics of what Juice Plus is and why their family member is so excited. You're the confidence with this new person that they don't have, and possibly their family doesn't have as well. And so both of you guys together sharing this message can be really powerful. So, sometimes new people will be hesitant though to let you in front of their people. And I can understand that. Those are their relationships and their connections, and to trust you with them. I always find it such a huge honor that they will let me in and share with them. And it may not be right away. It took me about 3 weeks before I was comfortable with that because it wasn't working. I wasn't getting orders. And so I was like, something's got to give. I think the problem is with me. And if Sharon said we need to do an event and she's willing, why would I not let her? So I shifted the way I was doing it. And then we started getting orders and I got to QSC. So events are a really big part of building that confidence of others in a room of community of other people's interest, asking questions, wanting to get their orders placed. Like there's confidence even in seeing other people moving forward and filling out the order form or agreeing with what you're saying, especially if you have people there sharing their experiences and their stories. So I hope that helps you guys and just kind of encourages you today. Don't give up. It's always a series of exposures, whether you're talking to a customer or you're talking to a potential team member. It's really the same process. And it's just, overcoming objections and really just walking them through the process, even with new people signing up, even with someone who's, further along and working towards QSC or even sales coordinator. So anyone want to add anything else to this conversation before we say goodbye? No? All right. Well, let's think through those people we've shared with. Is this a next step follow-up, a possibility that you can send them that cart and help them move along? Also sharing, hey, you ordered these products this month. We kind of talked about new partnering, partnering with us for $30 off. Would you like to do that? That's still a thing to bring them back into the conversation. So thank you guys all for joining us, and we will see you next week.